Okay, guys, so accounting, business operations, every beginner should focus on. So this video was actually inspired
Recording in progress.
because number one, I was talking to someone inside of my school groups, and like, you know, they had just been starting the business, and like the person goes, yeah, so I'm trying to like build my own like he's basically trying to code his own version of like QuickBooks. So he's like an in-house solution to be able to like run his accounting or something like that. I was like, well, dude, like why would you do that? And he's like, well, I have a background in accounting, and it's just me running the business. It's like, well, yeah, most people start off with themselves, but it's like you generally don't need much automations in the beginning until you're up to like either a certain point or until like you actually have so much client work that you need it. It's like, so you're focusing on the wrong problem first. And I thought about it, like a lot of people focus on the wrong things in the beginning, so like really having a video like this could be helpful for you, because then you can understand like what should you be doing versus like what should you not be doing, how should we make sure that we're as efficient as possible. Yeah, so let's kind of jump into this thing. So number one, cultivating the right mindset, okay? So mindset is a mixture of confidence, it's a mixture of focus, it's a mixture of your ability to kind of really overcome like self-doubt and imposter syndrome. So a lot of people, generally the more, there's kind of a 50-50 that I found with imposter syndrome. So 50% of the time it's that someone is very overqualified, and they're like, they know that they don't know that, they know what they don't know. So generally what happens is like whenever you start something new, there comes like an uninformed optimism where like, let's say that you're learning how to play, we'll say basketball, right? So you learn how to dribble, and then you learn how to shoot. And you're like, oh my gosh, I'm amazing, I can do everything, right? Because in your world of basketball knowledge, you only know how to dribble and how to shoot. So that means you know 100% of everything there is to know about the thing that you're talking about. But then as you get better, so now you know there's a dribble pattern that you can do. You can like put it in between your legs. You can run. You can do a layup. You can do a layup underhand, a layup overhand. You can pass. Now you're like, oh my goodness. So now there's like 7 things that I know, and I'm only good at like 4 out of 7. So now as you get more and more experience, you start understanding like, oh my gosh, there's so much stuff. Then pretty soon it becomes 100 different things that you're only good at 5 of them. So now, instead of being 100% great at everything that you knew, it was only 3, now you're only at 5% greatness. And then you start really saying, oh my gosh, there's so much, and if I know, like, there's 100 things I don't know, well now, every time that I feel like I know something, there's more stuff that I don't know, it becomes this, like, just this tornado of, like, nerves, and that's what we call imposter syndrome. Right? When you know that you're okay at something, but you're so constantly focused on things you don't know that it causes you to feel very overwhelmed and very, very upset. So the other kind of imposter syndrome is like when you don't have the skills and your subconscious and your body knows it. So a lot of people like want to be consistent. Most people are not like... So most people want to have alignment between what they say, what they do, and who they are, right? Some people don't, but if you're watching this, I'm assuming that you do, because you actually care about this stuff. Like it's kind of tough to like just be like a person where it's like, oh, I'm okay with like lying to everybody. That I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that. But so most people don't have that version of imposter syndrome. It's like usually like they have some sort of like. They know that they're not yet prepared. So for the one where it's like you have so much stuff in front of you and you know you're only 5% good at something and like you're just underqualified, okay. So with that one, you have to focus on what you do know and just start building up your skills slowly but surely. Rather than like looking at the whole elephant, how do you eat an elephant? You eat an elephant 1 bite at a time. So you do it 1, 2 step, 3 step, maybe improve like steps 10 out of 100. Then you improve steps 15 out of 100. Then you maybe go to like step 55 out of 100. Then you might find that you don't even need to know all 100. Just get good at the first 55. And for like the ones where it's like, you feel like you're not quite who you say you are, just reduce the promises you make to other people until it's something that you know you can keep. And then you just keep building your skill sets. All this is just about learning how to take things 1 step at a time, right? But that's about overcoming self-doubt and imposter syndrome. Just make smaller promises until you can make bigger ones, and then just improve your skills every single day. But just because you have imposter syndrome does not mean you should like stop moving forward, right? So this is like the next thing. This is why like mindset's so important, because I've seen so many people that are definitely qualified, but then they just like they get nervous, they don't even do anything, right? I've seen that so many times. Like there are a lot of individuals that think about starting. Like I've seen people that are like, you know, they make like they are like a director of finance, right? And it's like they're so scared to start their own business. Like, can I do it? I don't know if I'm good enough. It's just like, whoa, that's crazy. Versus I see some people, it's like they have no skill set in something, and like they just take off, right? So it's like it's not always about how skilled someone is. It's about like, are they willing to just kind of get a little bit uncomfortable and just keep putting themselves out there. We're gonna talk about how to put yourself out there in a minute, but that's number one, okay? Also, knowing where to invest your time and invest your money. So a lot of places, in a lot of cases, people just don't understand how to invest. So a business owner is generally an investor. They're either going to be taking on risk, whether they're investing their time, their money, or their focus. Now, most people, who start like an accounting business or just start an online business, they're like, how can I invest the least amount of time, the least amount of effort, and go and make, you know, as much money as possible. And like it sounds reasonable in theory. Like, okay, I want to put in as little work, I want to make as much as possible. Work smarter, not harder. Okay, but there does come a time to where you have to work both smart and hard in the beginning so that you can move. Like for me, for example, first year I spent like 36 grand on like coaching programs, like mentorships and stuff. Within the next 4 years, I had spent about $150,000 on coaches, mentorships, vacation retreats, seminars, just everything I get my hands on to learn this stuff. Versus I see some people, it's like, I can't invest $500 in something. That's too much money. And then they like, you look back like 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. Like I've been in this game for 10 years. And like, I've had the unfortunate kind of unfortunate events of seeing people start, stop, quit. And it's very, very common, the people who don't invest themselves, not only they're not investing their money, but oftentimes like they're not investing their time because they're just not committed. I found that by investing like money and stuff into like your business, and I don't mean like, you know, buying stupid stuff, like just stuff that's like just frivolous and stupid. Like I don't want you to go buy a new business car and take a 179 on it if you don't have any clients. It doesn't make any sense, you know? 179 is basically like what does that call it? It is an accelerated depreciation on like a business vehicle. So I don't want you doing just random expenses and like buying like a nice luxury car if you don't have any clients. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is that, you know, if there are certain things you can do to go and increase your earning capacity, you generally should do that, even if it's a little bit more expensive than what you're kind of thinking, because that's the only thing that's going to keep you inside the game. If you don't have any kind of like anchors that are pulling you back towards doing the work, right, then it's like, it's very easy for you to kind of like quit. That's the biggest thing that you face when you're running a business like this. It's not about like, you know, success or failure. It's about how likely are you to quit when things get a little bit challenging. Because it doesn't have to get that challenging, but things will get challenging. Just be aware of that. Things will get challenging. Now, for most people say they have like goals, like, oh, I want to be able to like, you know, go and travel. I want to be able to go and like, you know, spend time with my family. What I've found is that when things get tough, it's not everybody, but some people, those are not enough to keep them going. Some people need to have both, like their wants, their fears, and they need to have their money tied into it in order to like make it work. That's what it took for me, right? Because like I wanted to do this, but it just, every time that I was facing a business owner that was like, oh, your stuff is too expensive, I would just go and like spend a day at the grocery store. Like literally, I would spend the day walking the grocery store. Like I was clocking like 2 hours at the grocery store after every consultation call that didn't close. And I would just be like, oh, let's go walk around, or oh, let's go to the mall, or oh, let's do this, or like I was like, oof. And it wasn't until I started buying courses where it's like I didn't have that option anymore, because like I needed to, like mentally, I needed to make it work. I had like an impulse to go and attack. Next thing, client acquisition channels. So when you're first starting out, you should be focused on client acquisition. So that just means getting clients. Okay, so number one, so I like having 3 different ways about getting clients all the time. So number one is sweat equity. That's using platforms like LinkedIn, Instagram, or Facebook without automation. So it's just learning the platform. Now in the beginning, you're going to do a lot of sweat equity, like maybe about 2 weeks. Now, some people 2 weeks can be forever. Some people like me, it's like 2 weeks is nothing, right? The second one is going to be a semi-automated channel. So using like tools to be able to go and like to leverage LinkedIn and Instagram. Either tools or virtual assistants for consistent outreach. Channels 3 are going to be passive platforms. And we'll talk about like some passive platforms in a minute, but basically it's like where clients can start coming to you. So it's all about learning how to utilize what's called leverage. So leverage is going to be your ability to utilize something that does not necessarily require you to be like the main source. You can leverage a platform, you can leverage a person, you can leverage money, you can leverage technology. We're going to talk about using all of those, because if you can use all 4 of those forms of leverage, it's so consistently easy to grow a business. Like the interesting thing is, like, every single year, my business not only makes more money, but it requires less and less of me. It's crazy. Like, if you would have told me this like when I first got started in 2015, almost 10 years ago, if you would have told me that I would be making 10 to 20 times more, but working half the time, I would have thought you were crazy. Like, that doesn't exist. That's a get rich quick scheme. Next thing is to be building profitable partnerships. So I like partnerships. It's a version of a passive income. Passive like client stream as well, because number one, when I talk about leveraging time, right, it's how do you get a yield from something but you don't put in your own time. And there's no such thing as a free lunch, so you're not just going to get something that was for free, right? So like what I'm saying by that is, like, actually a better analogy is this. They talk about like reaping and sowing, right? So it's like, there was an ancient book, and they talk about like these people are like called to be able to go and like reap where they did not sow. So they didn't plant seeds, but they're able to go and like get a harvest from it. The reason why is because they're using other people's fields. So other people had planted the seeds months ago, years ago, or whatever ago, and then you're able to harvest that because you have some sort of agreement or some sort of deal with them to be able to go and use that, you know, and harvest that. And maybe you can share it, or maybe you don't. Maybe they just give it to you for free. That's what partnerships are. Someone has put in the time to go build a relationship, to go build a credibility, to go and build a reputation in either an online space or a local area. And then you go tap into that, and then they're able to go and share some wealth with you. Now, there are a million different reasons why someone might be willing to do that. Now, you know, in your head, if you're getting started, like, well, why would someone want to do that? No one wants to share. Like, everyone's competition. At least that's what I thought when I was getting started. But there's a lot of different reasons. Some people are like getting closer to business retirement age, and they want to make sure their current clients have someone who is reputable that can help them out. Or people that are newer into the industry, they want to send referrals. So every time that you refer one of your friends or clients to someone and the service goes well, the person who referred the service gets a boost in credibility, and the client will listen to that person more and more. So by them actually referring people to you, it's actually helping them out and building their reputation even more. So they actually have an incentivized like interest towards sending people to you. And we have different videos on this channel to show you how to go and get those partnerships, as well as I actually made a book that shows you how to go and get 6-figure partnerships. So if you want that book, right now, I've been planning on putting like Amazon for a little while, and it's like I'm probably going to sell it at like $16 to $20 for the book. It did take me a long time, probably about 1.5 years to make the book. But if you're watching my YouTube channel, I generally give it to like my people who are in my Facebook group, or my school group, or my YouTube channel. I have like a discount, and it's like $4.95 if you go get it before it's like on Amazon. So if you want that, type in 6FP inside of the comment section below, and I'll be sure to send you a copy of it. I'll send you a link to go check it out. You can read more, and then you can go purchase it. Talk to you, and that should be pretty fun. Next thing, leveraging lead generation tools and techniques. So first, talk about sweat equity, right? So that's going and utilizing LinkedIn to be able to go and like grow your business. Now, we have a lot of tutorials that show you how to utilize LinkedIn to grow. So I'm going to assume that you've either seen some of those, or after this video, you can go check those out. So I'm going to talk about the next thing. So once you've kind of elevated past sweat equity, it's time to start thinking about lead generation tools and techniques. So remember earlier when I was talking about the 4 different areas of leverage, one of them was going to be technology. So tools allow you to be able to go and get an output without necessarily having to have a person. So in a lot of cases, what you're doing with the sweat equity is you're the person doing it, or you might have like a virtual assistant or a marketing manager doing it. And that's great, but you're always reliant on the person or some sort of human element to do the job. When instead, if you have automation, I found it's just easier to really get a better quality yield because automation is automatic. So I don't have to worry about someone getting sick or having a power outage in like a different country, or maybe someone like their children get sick and they have to take the day to school. You don't have to worry about that when it comes to automation. Now there are still some challenges. Sometimes automation can break down, like there could be like a bug in the code or whatever. You have to like go fix it. But for the most part, it's generally going to be more consistent than a regular person would be. So in a lot of cases, there's tools like Apollo, there's tools like Linked Helper that allow you to plug into social media platforms and do it in an automated fashion. Next, there's email marketing. There's also social media content automation. Now, for most people that are starting a bookkeeping business, keep in mind, if you're selling strictly bookkeeping services, you don't really need to make content in the beginning. You need to have better in terms of like relationship. You can make content, but it's going to be very tricky because your audience size is not large enough. You'd be better off learning how to utilize LinkedIn, Facebook, even email marketing to go and build that audience first. Then once you have about 300 to 500 business owners that are in your audience, then you can start making content. Okay, that's so critical. Like, one second. Yeah, so it just works really well like that. Let me see if I can give you a better example as well. So I'll give you an example. So anytime that you start something new on the internet, a lot of people expect it to take off. Like, you let's say you start a YouTube channel, for example, right? And this is something that hits close to home because I kept trying to start like these like 2 or 3 other like YouTube channels that were around like either like how to learn bookkeeping, how to if I was trying to offer some tax planning services, or if I was trying to do something else, and like none of those channels seemed to take off. And I was like, that doesn't make sense, because I remember my YouTube channel, like, everything I do is always compared to my YouTube channel, right? My current one, which has, I think, 3,500 subscribers, get like 50,000 views a year. I was like, man, why is that not taking off? Why is that not going? But what I failed to remember was that I had spent 2 to 3 years building up my audience first before I ever even started my YouTube channel. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. So I already had an audience that was like ready and willing to like go and watch my stuff, right? So all I had to do was just tell them about this. And like it was going slowly at the beginning, and then it sped up and it sped up and it sped up. But what I failed to, then what I started doing recently was like, okay, so I'm going to build a new YouTube channel or something. I need to go and build a micro audience first. I need to go get the first, they call it the Fickle 500 or the Fickle 100, right? So in any kind of like restaurant or bar, we'll say like a local city, in order for that bar to succeed, they have to go and get 500 core members from the community to like that place and go there consistently. Once they get to go there consistently, they can keep like referring more and more friends, and they start growing. So they can get that Fickle 500. They're going to be they're going to make it. It's the same thing when it comes to like one of these like different platforms. You can get that initial Fickle 500 or Fickle 100, like depending on what you're trying to do. For me, it's going to be like 100. Some people it's like 500. Then when you start making content or when you start doing stuff, you have the ability to kind of like get it rolling, and then just the inertia of the initial people will propel it forward. So that's all this game is. It's learning how to go and essentially start something, build that momentum, and then keep it going. And it's super easy to keep it going. Now, next thing, so the best thing when you're first starting out is learning how to keep that tools, so automation tools, mixed with a little bit of personalization, or at least personalized overwatch. So remember how we talked about sometimes the tools can like just mess up, like there can be a bug in the code, or something can go wrong, or just things can go wrong. So like having it where it's like you just look at it every once in a while, maybe like once or twice a week, has generally been like the most effective thing in my opinion over a long period of time. And then also stay lean longer. So like we talked about, so it's good. The only things I would really invest in the beginning are generally going to be educational, like other courses or content or coaches or mentorships that would help me increase my earning potential. Okay, it's not don't go buy like random stuff for your business. Like don't go buy a website. Like don't go buy a $5,000 website to start. It's not gonna be effective. You might as well like. You don't need a website to start, but if you're gonna fight me on getting a website to start, go like build one for like $10, or go use like an automated thing, or go on Fiverr and get some Fiverr person to pay like maybe like $300, $500 for it. It should not take you, $5,000. I don't care what those website designers say. Like Most websites out the box are not going to get you clients because, again, you need that fickle 500. See, that example I gave you about the YouTube channel is the same thing on the website. Same thing with content. It all starts with the people first, okay? That's why it's so important to focus on the aspect. But stay lean longer. Don't buy random stuff for the business. Don't go buy a fancy new printer. Don't go buy, you know, a random thing. Don't go buy a new refrigerator for your house if you don't need it, right, when you're starting your business. Stay lean longer. It's all about increasing your earning potential in the first 1 to 3 years. Because, like, there comes a time, like, I talk about, you know, I spent $150,000 on course in the first, like, 4 years, okay? But I've been in business for 10 years. So what do I do for the rest of those years? There comes a time when you don't even need courses anymore. You become the course. You know what I mean? So it's like, you don't even need that stuff after a while. But it's like you have to invest in the beginning to go and get it. Like you have to invest your time to go and not have to invest your time anymore. Invest your money so you don't have to invest your money anymore. And that's where everything just kind of rolls. Next thing, essential tools and technology for operations. Okay, so your software. So you want your accounting software. So QuickBooks. So QuickBooks has a free version for accountants and bookkeepers. Okay? If you don't know how to go and get it, it's like QuickBooks for accountants. Right? Or it's at the bottom, it's like, there's like in the black. This is at the time of like the navigation currently. Like when you go to QuickBooks, it's not always like the most visible. You just scroll all the way down to the bottom. It shows like QuickBooks for accountants. Cool. Next thing, you can use client communication tools. So let's say you don't want to use your regular phone number. You can just use Google Voice. Very simple. It's free. Okay. What I like to do is like, I first don't use any tools. Then I start using free tools. Then I start using paid tools. The only exception to the free tools is like the QuickBooks accounts, because that's generally be free for you, right? So you're hooking up to someone's paid account. Next thing, automation. So streamlining tasks, enabling scaling. Okay, so we've already talked a little bit about automation, but also within the accounting and bookkeeping actual software itself, they have different automations that you can use, like workflows. Now, the one thing is like as you start making revenue, it's really good to start investing in like some technology that grows your business to save like the time, reduce the error. So client management tool, you can go get a practice management tool. Those can be like $50 per month. Like there's one called Financial Sense. It's very simple, right? There's Keeper, there's Tax If you do a little bit of taxes. There's a lot of different things you can do to kind of like keep the business management. You can even use a HubSpot. It's like a CRM. A CRM stands for Customer Relationship Management Tool, basically. It allows you to be able to track conversations, hold client documents, keeps track of emails that you send to them or emails that you receive from them. You can take notes about them. You can track their phone number, just everything about them. It's like stored in like this just system where it makes everything easier. I have one. I have a pretty advanced one. It's a little bit overkill for like what it is. It's like $150 a month per team member that you have. So it's a lot depending on how many team members you have. So I wouldn't recommend the one I have, but we recommend a different one inside of our program. Next thing, streamlining onboarding communication. So having a really good onboarding process, it's vital as you scale. It's not essential as you start. So in the beginning, like you just want to have an onboarding process that's just good enough. So like all I do for the onboarding process in the beginning is like you basically give them like an email with like the 11 steps for them to give you access with QuickBooks. And then what you do is you basically will say, okay, so this email, so first you let me access your QuickBooks, then you sign the engagement letter, then we can book your onboarding call. And then you just do your onboarding call. And we can tell you how to do the onboarding call. You know, if you're inside of our program, we'll show you how to do that. But very simple. Don't make it this thing where it's like this person signs a contract and then this other thing sends and then this email is set to send and this like it's gonna break down your first couple clients. Like you want to do one step at a time, right? My onboarding process isn't even very automated. It's like someone basically works like if they say they want to get started, I send them an invoice. So a manual send them an invoice. And then after that, I send them a manual email. It is a template manual email, but it's still a manual email that I send. Then I have to mark them on my CRM as they have signed up. Then I just go into like my other thing. I just send the engagement letter. So it's not the most automated, but it's so consistent. It takes me like 3 to 5 minutes to get someone onboarding, right? But if I was a person who's like, I need to have this automation, this and this and this and this and this, it's just too chaotic, too hectic. Like don't want to focus on that. Just be good enough, have some actionable steps, and then go from there. Next, use Slack for communication and set clear expectations. Okay, so I like Slack for client communication. I also like if you have a good CRM, you can just text them back and forth there. But for most people when you're starting out, a free alternative is just using Slack. Okay, they have a free one. Awesome. Cool. Next thing, so in conclusion, focus on your mindset, your onboarding, your lead generation, and start building some partnerships for success. Okay? Keep staying encouraged. I think you can do this if you are willing to put in the work and just stay there as long as possible. Also, if you want some help growing your business, go ahead and click the link inside the description, either above or below the video, to book a call with myself to see if I can help you inside of our mentorship program, okay? This is basically the easiest way for you to go and grow your business because I'm walking with you step by step. If anything you see on this channel is something where either you didn't know how to do or just something that's like you don't even know what to do because there's so much, the mentorship program will help you because I can just hold you by the hand and say, hey, avoid this step, do this, this can be a faster path to cash, let's go and grab this thing. It just makes it easier for you to grow. Okay, so that's something you think could help you out. Go ahead and click the link inside the description, above or below the video. Book the call. I'd love to talk to you. Let's see if I can help you out. Okay, talk to you soon. Have a good one.